How do you create an empire that attracts thousands of people to your venue, gives an international experience, and at the same time makes you an iconic household name? Businessman Derek Chin created the Caribbean's first multiplex cinema experience in Movietowne. The movie mogul spoke to our Inside Business reporter Roger Dwarika about what it takes to be an entrepreneur starting from scratch.
The magic of the silver screen, born from an idea that started in the 1850s in France as just moving pictures and no sound, but delighting Parisian crowds. The first cinema in Trinidad began in the 1900s at the Princess Building in Port of Spain. Roll forward a century later, and cinema has evolved here into this, the vision of a man who started with just an idea in 2000.
Everybody at that time felt it wasn't going to happen. It couldn't work, you know. At that time we had the Betamax, and we were paying $6 per week, and movies were $10 at Globe for 2 showings. So I was considered crazy and mad. But I had a vision that the country was in direst need of something that is world class or approaching world class. People were basically saying we needed places to go on the weekends with the children, and there was nothing better than starting with movies. Movies is really part of life.
But getting there wasn't easy. It was a multi-million-dollar undertaking requiring heavy financing, good asset leverage, and most importantly, the bankers' trust. At that time, only the United States boasted the new multi-screen cinemas. And in a Caribbean country used to the single screen, Mr. Chin's idea was, in itself, a risk.
You know, I hadn't any proven track record way back then in 2003. So going to Trin City Mall, thought I would get in there, and I was blanked. West Small at the time, I was also not encouraged. So I really had to find a place that would be suitable, and along came the Portlands, and where we are today.
It's often said in business, it's not where you start, but the road to where you end up. And it's the ability to overcome hurdles in the journey that defines true entrepreneurs.
I'm very inspired when I see, you know, the sick and the elderly come here for a matinee at lunchtime with their intravenous injections and wheelchairs, or a women's group coming out from South to spend an afternoon here. And that's why we created this. The children, I mean, seeing the smiles on the children and their dads and their mom, trying to build families back where a lot of them have been basically destroyed. It's a great sense of inspiration.
Since the 1970s, Mr. Chin has watched the country move through its various incarnations of boom and bust economics to its current state today. But as a major businessman who runs what's technically a movie empire, what are his thoughts on the current state of the country?
Well, there is a need to obviously utilize those that are doing positive things. The government themselves need to bring in the private sector more. Basically have proper plans laid out as to where we want to be in the next 3 years, the next 5 years, and so on. I would say to young aspiring entrepreneurs, it's all about sticking at your vision, keep going. There are a lot of challenges, a lot of hurdles, especially in this part of the world. But eventually, once you make your first century, things start to come into play.
Like cinema itself and business in general, it's all about evolution. And whilst he runs 4 Movietowne locations across the country, the next step for the entrepreneur is regional, as he takes his cinematic experience across the Caribbean. Roger Dwarika, see Inside Business.